Sorry, hi, my name is Bobby Maxwell. I'm a product manager here at ProSoft Technology. I've been at ProSoft for about 8 years now in various positions from marketing to support and product management. Currently, I am in charge of all of our legacy, or I guess our modernization strategy and portfolio. Did you know there's more than 65 billion in automation systems that are reaching end of life? So this is equipment that either obsolete by the manufacturer already or on its way out to being discontinued. For the purpose of this presentation, Remote I/O and Data High Plus networks, pretty much from Rockwell, have been discontinued, and they're becoming harder and harder to find the spare parts. And then part of the emerging technology and the value of collecting all of this data and making better business decisions about it, it's almost impossible to do with serial equipment. There's a huge install base of Remote I/O drives, panel views, Flex I/Os, 1771 I/O, 1747 I/O. It's everywhere. You likely have some of this equipment in your facility, or you know someone that does, or you probably wouldn't be here right now. So the newer equipment, we just talked about all the old equipment that's kind of gone away. And the new equipment that's, I say replacing it, I say that very loosely, doesn't have the same communication interfaces. So there's no Remote I/O COM cards or Data High Plus COM cards for panel views. No more Remote I/O connectivity or no Remote I/O connectivity for the 525 or Flex I/O. And the 755s and newer, I believe they have a COM card still, but it requires the user to change a bunch of PLC code in the PLC 5. So there's all kinds of options, I guess, for modernizing. You could not do anything, just kind of leave everything as it is, and hope for the best. Fingers crossed. It's very high risk. It's an option. There's a rip and replace option. It's got some risk. So if the quote that comes in from the system integrator or the company that's going to do the rip and replace, if the quote ends up being higher than anticipated, or the schedule goes out longer than anticipated, there's some risk in still not having a finished product, I guess, or the system implemented when needed. And then there's a phased approach. So the phased approach is low risk. It's a lot lower risk. You replace a few pieces at a time, and as you replace these pieces, you're starting to modernize your network, and you're starting to be able to take advantage of some of the new Ethernet capabilities, some new performance capabilities, if you'd like, and moving towards a complete Ethernet network. There are always questions. We get this when we're talking to customers and talking through distribution on, upgrading. It's like, okay, well, do I start with the panel views? Do I start with the drives? What about the I/Os, the controllers? Like, what part do you think I should start at? What can I do to do it, and who can do it for me? Like, should I do that in-house? Should we outsource it? It ends up coming to, it's in text, right? The inability to easily answer those questions leaves people, they tend to not do anything about it, right? Until something breaks, and then they're forced to do it because there's a bunch of different options. And then there's risk with modifying when you do decide to finally do something. So there's risk with modifying PLC code. So like I said, finding a qualified engineer to do it. If the engineer is trying to use old equipment and new equipment, and they don't really know what they're doing, they own issues that arise in the future. And then if there's downtime that occurs because of it, I like this. It's only there was a better way. Kind of like the infomercials. It's the guy's trying to beat a head of lettuce into a Cuisinart with a hammer. He knows the lettuce needs to go in there. He's just not really sure what tools to use and exactly how to do it, right? So that's kind of where ProSoft comes in the middle. So here's a sample modernization application, right? It's pretty simple. I say it's pretty simple, but you have a PLC5 or a SLIC that we're on Remote IO or Data Highway Plus or both. And we've essentially replaced all the peripherals with Ethernet IP components. So ASB Flex IO modules replaced with AENT modules. Panel view, the old black bezel panel views replaced with panel view pluses. 1336 or 1305 drives replaced with PowerFlex 525 or 755. And then on Data Highway Plus, the old KF2 engineering terminals or panel views on Data Highway Plus replaced with the new Ethernet IP based PCs and panel view plus 6s, 7s, or even the newer ones. And most of this, almost all of this, can be done without any changes to PLC code. So kind of the way it works is our module or our gateway acts as a remote IO rack group and slot on the remote IO side, and then it acts as a PLC, or sorry, as a ControlLogix PLC on the Ethernet IP side. So from the PLC5, it still thinks it's talking to the previous rack group and slot, and then from the panel view, the PowerFlex or the Flex, it kind of thinks it's talking to a ControlLogix, and then we do that mapping in between. So that's a good way to, when you're looking at modernizing legacy equipment in a phased approach, because you can't get spares, you can't find replacements, there are no more new parts, you're afraid of buying used pieces to throw in there. You can use ProSoft to bridge that gap to get some newer equipment or the latest and greatest equipment on the existing PLC5s or SLC platforms. So another reason is to modernize. It's a business decision. You're looking at your existing network. If you're analyzing risk, you're looking at pieces of equipment that are out there that have been running for 15 or 20 years or longer, and there are no direct replacements for them. With legacy serial or remote IO networks, being able to monitor the productivity, being able to predict downtime and things like that, increase output. It's not as easy to do as it is on newer Ethernet networks that are connected to like an MES system. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard probably Rockwell talk about the connected enterprise. The whole point of the connected enterprise is to connect the plant floor to the enterprise network, data analytics, operational intelligence, productivity. You want to be able to connect these systems, connect these systems and analyze the data and being able to understand what's being inputted to the machines, what's being outputted from the machines. Is it operating at 80% efficiency, 70%, 50%? If something happens, you want to be able to quickly make a decision on the alarm or the alert or the change of state, and be able to make a good business decision to move forward from there. Many serial or PLC5 SLC networks are part of the disconnected enterprise, right? They're not really connected to anything. It's a machine out there on the plant floor that's kind of doing its thing and seems to be working still, but there's not a lot of information that can be gathered from it. So essentially, what does a connected enterprise mean, and what does modernizing have to do with the connected enterprise? So imagine this is a plant floor. It is a plant floor, but imagine there's a bunch of little machines out there that all have slicks running all of these different pieces of equipment, and all of these SLCs are disconnected from one another. They're all running, and to be able to understand what's happening with them, you have to go out to the machine itself, do some maintenance checks, and kind of go from there, write a report, and move on. So imagine that machine was, we'll say that this is the inside of the panel, for example. So you have a SLIC, and you have a panel view, and you have a drive. And you want to start upgrading that, and you want to start taking advantage of some of these connected enterprise thing that I'm talking about. So putting ProSoft in the middle, you can put upgrade the HMI and you can upgrade the drives. So now you have new Ethernet IP drives, you have new Ethernet IP HMIs, still isolated from the network. But what if there's a way to get the SLIC connected to the network? Again, kind of throw ProSoft in the middle and you can connect the SLC either on DF1 or DH45 to Ethernet IP. So now you have a serial PLC, so a SLIC, with new Ethernet IP components, an Ethernet IP port essentially, and if you add some radios to it, now you've connected the machine to the enterprise network. So now you have wireless connectivity connecting each of these individual machines to the enterprise network, or at least to the plant-wide network that could be tied into the enterprise network. And now you have the ability to sit around a table drinking coffee and wondering or making decisions on which machines need to be upgraded faster, which ones aren't producing as much, and the operational output of the entire plant floor by connecting all of these otherwise isolated pieces of equipment. We'll use the same machine. We're going to do something a little bit different on this one. Again, we're going to upgrade the serial devices or the legacy devices to Ethernet IP. We're going to give the SLIC an Ethernet IP port, but instead of connecting it to the wireless plant-wide network, let's connect it to the internet, essentially. So let's give it remote access. So now you've taken this machine that's on the plant floor in, I don't know, Michigan somewhere, and you're asking your system integrator that a couple hundred miles away or a couple hours away for help because the machine went down. Well, now you have the ability to connect them into this machine so that they can, provide maintenance support. And I want to show you how this. I'm going to show you what this looks like and how it works. So this is ProSoft Connect. This is our secure remote access platform. It logs me in. I'm already kind of logged in. This is our secure remote access platform. So this is the tool that we use to connect or connect anyone, I guess, to a remote piece of equipment. So right here, I want to show you, we have a demo here. I'm going to connect to the demo using ProSoft Connect. So this is using the Windows VPN server. We use the Windows VPN server, so whenever Windows updates security settings and patches and things like that, with the VPN tunnel and the VPN server client get updated at the same time. And then we host our VPN tool, ProSoft Connect, we host it online. And we do that so that anytime there's a security patch, we can roll that out to everybody as soon as possible. So now I'm connected from my computer to my demo. I'm going to use, it's called Kite VNC Viewer. What this is a VNC connection, and it's going to allow me to connect into panel view screen. Connected, VNC Viewer, connect. So now this is the IP address of the remote network. And this is the screen for the HMI that's built into the remote network. So here's you can see the screens here kind of match. So we have a PowerFlex 525. We have two Annex modules. We have these are the remote I/O to Ethernet IP modules. This is Ethernet IP to DF1, and then this is our HMI and our SLIC. So Ethernet IP device, Ethernet IP device. My PC is an Ethernet IP device, so I could go online, program, change configuration in here if I wanted to. And then this is our wired remote access gateway. So it's a PLX35 is what we call it. So if you watch down here, you can see the little PowerFlex motor. Like I said, this is our HMI, so I can start the motor from pretty much anywhere. So as long as I have a VNC viewer and I have a VNC settings enabled on the HMI, I can log in and I can change configuration parameters. I can test a machine for maintenance, service, and warranty purposes. So anyway, kind of wanted to show that the different capabilities that are available once you have these old legacy pieces of equipment kind of Ethernet enabled. So now this machine or this demo could be connected to an MES system. It could be accessed remotely, and we could start getting more efficiency out of a piece of equipment that we already have. Back to this. Uh-oh. Yes, there we go. So, over the last 7+ years, ProSoft successfully helped thousands of customers modernize, migrate, connect legacy serial networks to Ethernet IP networks, migrating from legacy GE Genius networks or Texas Instruments or Square D, Fisher Provox, Moore Apex, Siemens, Schneider, and many more. I think I said wireless connectivity, so connecting plant floors to enterprise networks, and then replacing just obsolete devices, drives, HMIs, I/O, controllers, valves, you name it. So in summary, I guess, if you're running out of spare parts, if you need help extracting more value from your machines, or you're looking for a way to increase productivity, give us a call. We're here to help.